Damn it. Ah, damn it. That. I'm gonna find a more comfortable way to sit. Good morning, folks. We're getting started. You can watch me go through this as we get started. So for the people coming in or people watching this for the playback, when I do the playback later, you can either skip a couple of things, or you can watch me scroll through mustard rolls. Now, what is that? That's just some marks. That's not in numbers of slaves. I said, did you rest? What's up, Tabitha J? Good risings. Yes, I did. Got me some good rest. It's kind of cool right now. Let me turn my heat on. Got me some good rest. I hope you did. I had a decently long live stream last night. So I wasn't gonna live stream this morning, but I started to see this, and I'm just like, man, I'm gonna go live and go through this. I'll turn this off in a second. I'm gonna just let it heat up. I know y'all can probably hear that. My little heater next to me. I figured I would go live this morning in order to talk about this Seminole thing that I just found this morning. I was here, that's why. Yeah, you were in there last night. I'm tripping. Mm-hmm. Morning, boss. Morning, soldier. Said top floor of New York. What's happening? Let me turn that off. That's kind of getting hot already. Good morning. So, what I'm doing right now, as we wait to get some people up in here, and I'll explain to you what I'm showing. So these are the muster rolls. And what are the muster rolls? And why am I going through all 117 of them this morning? And they got me fucked up this morning? Well, this is the muster rolls of New York Indians. But also, I don't know why they say that, because these are really supposed to be the Seminoles. When you come down, I'm pretty sure it says Seminole down here. Concerning Indian removal, muster rolls. Well, let me make sure I'm in the right one. Muster rolls. I thought I was, you know what? I thought I was in the Seminole. These are the muster rolls for the Potawatomi, Kickapoo, Osage, Quapaws. Well, Seminoles is in there. Ottawas, Wyandots, and slaves from Chicago. I think the one I'm in right now, because they must be different books, actually. And I must have already completed, now that I think about it. I must have already went through all the Seminole files. Let me go back. Let me go back here. So, muster rolls concerning the Indian removal. We went into these little micro copies. Good morning, people coming in. Appreciate y'all coming in. So I went to these micro copies. Let me just double check who's on these micro copies. What the first ones that I saw, because I don't want to be doing the wrong thing. It just said Indians to immigrate west of the Mississippi River. It doesn't really say if these people are Seminoles. So let me go to one of these other muster rolls. But what I'm looking for, and I thought I found something, but I guess I'm slightly wrong. Even though this says this includes the Seminoles, but Seminoles really got removed in 1865. I'm looking for the muster rolls for the Seminoles for let me see what this says. I'm looking for the handwritten muster rolls, the primary source of the muster rolls, because when you look at certain things, you get this. One thing is, okay, so let me show you. I was just on it. Seminole immigration. So on the Seminole website, let me see what y'all saying down here. It's AI debate line comment your thought. Oh, that's AI. What the heck? And this says 1838 too. So this is showing 1838 immigrants from there. So I'm in the right section in there. So they must have been listed in that same roles. Muster rolls, Seminoles. But the thing is, on here, when you click it, you see where they got Seminoles and Negroes. Well, when you click on Negroes, the Negro Indians have owners listed under them. Now, that's supposed to denote, in a sense, that they were slaves because they were owned, right? But the black Seminoles will tell you that they never were slaves. Appreciate that. Thank you. The black Seminoles will tell you that they never were slaves. So where did they get owners from? So right now I'm looking for, and I'll show you this too, on the paperwork so if they never were slaves, which they never was, on their Dawes Rolls paperwork, they put somebody in the category of a slave. It'd be like, what's the person who enrolled as a tribe? And the person's name was Doran Barkus. And then they was like, who was Doran Barkus a slave of? And they put down Lord Barkus was a slave of Eliza Bowlegs. But again, Seminoles, the black Seminoles, the real Seminoles, they were not slaves. They were protecting the immigrants that was in the area, which have now taken over the face of being a Seminole. A lot of Spaniards, but so my goal right now is to try to find out where is the original muster roll paperwork that these people went by on the Seminole Nation website and put owner names. So if you got owner names, then somebody recorded that somewhere, and I'm trying to find it. Let me go back here real quick. So I went there. So we're looking for the muster rolls. Now here, it's supposed to be here. Let me see if I can see it real quick. Special Archives publication book. Media type is a book. How do I view the file? Digital images were created from print, blah, 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 rights restrictions. Okay, that's fine. Oh, okay. I see some all images. Okay. But even this, see if it's typed up like this, and that can't be the muster rolls. Names of chiefs of bands. See, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that. And this is the Florida records. I'm trying to see primary source data. And y'all see how they playing games? Let me move this so y'all can see, so I can see what y'all talking about. Thanks for sharing it live. What's up, Tasha Nicole? What's up, everybody up in here? So what we're looking for is the primary source, because if you have, let me go back. if you have these people listed on the primary source as owners, I want to see when and how. Because now think about it, the Seminoles were free. So, and they didn't lose their last war until 1856. 1865 was the end of slavery. So that's like less than 9 years of them creating a treaty, being removed, going to Oklahoma and other places. And let's see if this is it. Index for Florida, Militia Muster Rolls, Seminole Wars, volumes. Okay, let me see. And so, come on, really? It is. Typically, there's a little thing right here I can click on. Now, this one says it's the Family Search Library. You have to actually go and view it. I don't like that. It's like that means you got to go in person to view it here. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's because I feel like they're trying to hide the Seminole, real Seminole photocopies of their muster rolls. Because if I was to get to those muster rolls and I find out, see, that's the fake or the typed up version. I don't need a typed up version. If I get to the muster rolls, and they calling it the muster rolls too. If I get to that and it doesn't show people on their census form being slaves, having tick marks next to it, then that's not going to be good for them when I go and do this documentary about their ass. So that's what I'm looking for. I said probably doctored up. Yeah, they didn't have enough time to be enslaved. Exactly. What's up, crew? Out? Primary source for it. Okay, yeah, you got it. Yeah, exactly. So it should, and the reason why it should be easy to find is because it's easy to find the other ones. I can find the dolls. I can find some of these other roles. There's many other roles I can find. But for some reason, Division of Information, State Library, Seminole Wars. Let me just make sure I didn't miss it. United States Adjunct Office, Navy War, letters received by Topographical War, letters sent or registered received, headquarters of Florida. These are just letters received. I'm looking for muster rolls. Y'all playing games. I thought I had it. That's why I went live this morning. I mean, and it's possible that I still may have it. I may have to keep going through there. Which, for those people just getting in, let me show you. It's possible that it could be this right here. Because this does say, oops. Come on, go down. This does talk about the Indian removal muster rolls. It says this is the National Archive Records microfilm from 1832 to 1846. And it does say it's for the Potawatomis, Kickapoo, Osage, Quapaws, Ottawas, and Seminoles, Wyandots, and slaves from Chicago, New York, Arkansas, Ohio, Michigan, and Canada. So the thing about that is, I don't think it's mine. I don't think it's the right one because I'm really concerned with the Florida area. But I ain't really seen anything about, unless they're talking about the Wyandotte, or they're talking about slaves from those areas, but maybe the Seminoles are still listed in here. I just have to go through these, and I still might go through them. And I thought they were all in, but let me show you what they look like. So this says the miscellaneous Indian removal rolls, and I can't for whatever reason. Typically, I can scroll out and see all the pages all at one time, but for whatever reason, man, this thing is. That's why I hadn't went through it so fast. For whatever reason, you got to go one page at a time. Let me just make sure this doesn't say Seminole. This is muster roll of the Party of Potawatomis of Chicago. So these would be the muster rolls of the Potawatomi of Chicago. Now, first of all, and this might also, now that I think about it, even though this may not work necessarily for the Seminole area, For those of you who are black, so-called, right, and can tie yourselves back to the Potawatomi areas, the Kickapoo areas, and whatever, here are muster rolls that do not show anybody owning slaves at that time. Now, that could be because they're in the North and slavery was abolished in the North by the time they did this roll in 1838, or it may not be. Who knows? Okay, that one says, muster rolls of the Potawatomi Indians of Chicago. So the Potawatomi Indians of Chicago did not hold any slaves, as we can see here. They had a number of Indians in their families, but the way they took the census is very similar to the census forms, having head of families before they changed it up to slave schedules and stuff. Okay, here's the Kickapoo Indians, Kickapoo and Potawatomi. Okay, so I get it. Let's keep going and see if we can see a Seminole. But as you can see, they didn't have slaves. Okay. And they would always say it was those 5 civilized tribes that had them. Well, really, it was just YT folks who put themselves in certain tribes. The job descriptions are important too. Yeah, especially for them calling us slaves. They had actual positions and jobs and crafts and what do they call them? Apprenticeships and things like that. Like, these people wasn't just some cotton pickers. These people were crazy. And Creeks were stationary, and Seminoles moved around more, but both are from the Yamasee. Yeah. Because no, there never was really a Seminole tribe. They kind of made that up after about 1700. You have me interested now. This is my part of heritage on my mother's father's side. That's what's up. What's happening, Seminole, boss? Does the word Seminole mean runaway? No, they be playing games on that. In fact, that's a good little lesson to show. They be playing games on that. Let me show you. To the John Ross Decree 2, yep. Muster rolls of Louisiana. Okay. Let me show you how it does not mean runaway. And that how that got changed over time purposely. Because that's what these white folks be doing. They always institute small changes, small things that will skew the entire view of what they're talking about. So I should have it in here. If not, it's in my phone. Okay, here they go. Here we go. So what we do is, what I decided to do was look up the word. Now, Seminole is a corruption of the word. Let this dude say it. Cimarron.
Says that from the beginning, it was a melting pot tribe. So these people all banded together and somehow became Seminole?
Became Seminole. And in fact, the word Seminole is not even an Indian word. It is derived from a Spanish word, cimarron, meaning runaway slave. And so from the beginning, you don't have an Indian tribe. It was a multi-ethnic coalition.
So when I first heard that, I was like, that was a long time ago. Oh, they don't try to, the black Indians, he just said it, and then I remember like looking at further into this and started thinking like, they lying about something. They lying about many things. First thing I caught them up in a lie is the whole slavery thing, because they was like the Indians depended on them right here.
Documents their
right here.
Indians depended on them as warriors and interpreters. Equals, Opala says, and the Indians depended on them as warriors and interpreters.
Now, he said the Indians depended on going with their current whatever, because we was the Indians. But the Indians, the Spaniards and other folks who decided to claim to be Indian, they depended on us as the warriors and the interpreters. And even right here, he says they was fighting a Negro war, right? So my first thing was, if we was your warriors and we had guns and we was fighting better than y'all, so we had to protect y'all, why would we go to Oklahoma after the removal and just be like, all right, man, I know we was protecting y'all and everything, but we'll go ahead and be y'all slaves and things because, it's kind of the law, I guess. Wouldn't they just turn the guns on them, Wouldn't they just, whatever, right? But also, you got this line where this guy says right here in a different documentary.
Come after that come with their guns on. So you see the freedom came here with their guns on. It said the freedom was slave to the Indian, but slaves don't wear no guns.
Let me play that one more time.
With their guns on.
Hold up.
So you see the freedom came here with their guns on. It said the freedom was slave to the Indian, but slaves don't wear no guns.
So they said, hey, you said freemen were slave to the Indians, but we came here with our guns on us. Slaves don't wear no guns. So I was like, when I remember seeing that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. So let's get to this whole Cimarron word. That's a good little thing. So I wanted to make sure that Cimarron really meant Seminole. Really meant runaway slave, because they be playing games. So I wanted to go look up the word in dictionaries. And we're going to go from the most recent not the most recent, but the most recent one that I got in here. An old dictionary and then older. So in 1910, what does Cimarron mean? Cimarron meant wild, unruly, applied to men and beasts. Now they put in there a runaway slave maroon. Now that's in 1910. You see that, right? And I saw that. I saw it later. So I just knew that they was playing games, but you're seeing it now. So seeing it first, you're like, oh, okay, well, that's what it means, right? 1910. Well, let's go back in dictionaries. Is that what it always meant, or did they change the dictionaries like white folks love to do? Let me see which one this is. 1843. Let's just go back about 50 years. 1843 dictionary. What does Cimarron mean in 1843 when this was going on? Wild, unruly, men, beast. There's no runaway slave listed there. Now, is that a mistake? Well, let's take a look at another one. Let's go further back. 1823. What does Cimarron mean in 1823? Wild, unruly, applied to men and beast. Now, just because you're wild and unruly doesn't mean you're a slave. They try to say, oh, wait a minute. Said no mistake, exactly. Purposeful. What they try to say is these people went running away. They were slaves of the white folks up north that came running away like wild folks. And that's why they was wild. So they call them Seminole because they was wild, but they were really runaway slaves. So technically, it's not what you call somebody who's not a runaway slave. You call them wild if they're strong, if they can defeat people, if they're your warriors, right? They come over there from over here and they can fight, and they're warriors, and they're kind of wild. Let's go back, 1786. Going way back. Cimarron, wild nor tame. That one don't say apply to men and beasts, but it was just wild nor tame. Still very, very much what it always had been. And I think is that the last one? This is 1851. Wild, unruly, applied to men and beasts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I showed you all of them. Yeah, all the ones I got. So when you go and look, love your lives. Appreciate that, Latrice. How you doing? Basically, if they didn't wear suits, or really just they were really, I don't know why. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look a little further into why they called them. Why the Spanish may have referred to them as. Oh, you know what? I know why. I know why they called them wild. Let me show you a video. She probably would hate if I show her video, but I don't give a fuck. I say that because she had posted a comment on my YouTube saying, I would like it if I could tell my own story or something, or whatever, lady. I'm telling Anything that's been public, I don't give a fuck. You didn't want it out there, shouldn't have said it publicly. You shouldn't have said the shit publicly, man. But anyway, I didn't mean to call her that. I'm just playing when I say that part. But okay, where is that video at? Here it is. Well, that's the 38-second clip of it. Hold on. Here it is. Okay. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, the Seminole part. Let me just fast forward to the Seminole part.
This much is on the page. When I go, like she looked, quote, Indian people. Then they married peoples. And so here it was that all the lifestyles was people living there in their own community. It was a blah, blah, blah.
Here it is. I need a screen recorder, so I got this section just for the Seminole part too.
Communities. They weren't going to continue to be enslaved. So they would raid the plantation islands.
Hold on, here we go.
These folks, I find out, get renamed because those who don't remain on the plantation islands where the cotton, the rice, and indigo are being grown and are living on little side islands that are called hummocks, the little 10-acre or less islands. They started living there in their own communities. They weren't going to continue to be enslaved. So they would raid the plantation islands back and forth. These are who become known as Seminole because they take the Spanish word Cimarron, meaning wild or exile, and label them as Seminole or Seminole in other places you would even call it. So now when they write of them, these Seminoles are blah, blah, blah. These Seminoles are blah, blah, blah. It's not until this war is going on and it's starting to go through. It's now Florida, because we're in Georgia, into Florida, and these battles are continuing, that now someone writes, there are more Negroes in this war than there are Indians. Yes. And that one piece of history that was documented tells the whole story.
Okay, let me stop it there. See what you're saying.
And that's why now...
You said, which is funny what she's saying because the house of that orange man is attached to their history. Yeah. What I realized, said there's way too many receipts for these people to continue their lives for real. What's up, Melanin Empress? Hey, fair game knowledge includes to a forgotten past for real. If they put it out there, I'm gonna talk about the info. Shows too much of a threat they were, yeah. Florida natives. Morning, what's up, boss man? Fuego. Okay, so as y'all just seen, and she just said it too. I didn't know it was 80 people in here. And she just said it to herself that the word Seminole means wild, and she threw in exile. So yeah, but wild, unruly people. And she said that it was escaped people who started, what's up, Yaya? Good morning. Escaped people who started to run back and forth and raid the plantation. So think about that. You got these men, black Indians, who they want to call black African Indians. You have them, and they are, or they're saying that you're African mixed with the Indians because y'all took off running as runaway slaves. Which don't when you look at the timeline, like the Seminoles didn't even really get formed until the 1700s, and it's like when you look at the timeline, there's not enough time for all the niggas to just mix with some Indians by before 1865, to where they all just these blood mixed. I don't know. People just be saying crazy stuff. Now, I do know, if anything, I have proof that some of the Seminoles had mixed with some Spaniards, and they're not Indians, right? I would have to go to right here. So we do have proof that Caesar Bruner's grandfather, so that's Caesar Bruner, we do have proof that his grandfather in the 1700s was getting it in with Miss Elizabeth Manuel, right? So we do know that. But we don't have proof that people were mixing with some Indians, that red Indians that they try to show us today. I would love to see somebody show me something from like this, because at least we know that people in the Seminole tribe had enough money to get portraits of some type, whether that's drawn or whatever, done it themselves, okay? And if the black ones could do it, if the black ones could afford it, well, I'm pretty sure goddamn they could have afforded it. I'm pretty sure they could have afforded it. You know, he looks damn near like his grandpa somewhat. And all the Bruner family is of a melanated hue. Okay? Said my great grandmother was a mixed Choctaw and Kokomo, Mississippi. When you say mixed Choctaw, what was she mixed with? If you please don't say black. Because that would be the Indian part. It says, I think we did, but I still believe we were related anyway. We didn't mix with any Siberians. You know, what I usually see is mixtures of Spaniards and Asians possibly, but I could be wrong. There could be some little mixes of those Siberians, but those wouldn't be until like the late 1800s and early 1900s, because those people really didn't get here until that time. And I'm really starting to believe that, almost 100%. I almost feel like I got 100% proof now to prove that they didn't really get here until that time. I need to go search a little bit more of the naturalization records in the National Archives just to see more of that. So there were no Siberians to mix with in the 1700s. Yeah, because they didn't even really start registering those people's families. And I was showing people this last night. Let me see if I got it up still. Yeah, Indian registers of families, where they started giving them English names, giving them our names, which are English names. This one doesn't really show it. Yeah, there it does. But this one's a little different because they got last names, but I had to go find the ones that I had found our last names on. But you see they have categories to go from an Indian name to an English name, okay? And when you look at when they registered these families, you got this Indian Family Register book being done between 1880 and 1928, and they got 3 other volumes of it, but they all register of Indian, register of, let me do it that way. See if I can get all the copies to show up on the same thing. Get all that fluff out of there. Register of Indian Families. Okay, there's the same thing, 1880 to 1928. Typically, they all just show up. I forgot what I had to do to make them all just show up on the same. Sort by, what did I sort it by? Maybe it probably sorted it by something. But Register of Indian Families, Register of Indian Families, they all should have showed up the same way. It's like 3 volumes, plus some other books. These things be playing games. There's another one. There's a few more. I don't know what the hell they be doing, because it just showed it even back here when I had it spelled the other way. Let me go back. When I just typed in Indian Family Register, you got that one showed up. That one showed up. But there was some other ones too, man. Playing games, man. Search engine should know, should be better. Maybe put registry. But I don't think it's that though. See, the small changes will really change that whole thing. Now you can't even. Okay, there's one. See how that's different? Register of Indian Families, Volume 3. That search engine is just whack because I got all the right words in that bitch. But anyways, register any. So there's multiple volumes is what I was basically trying to get at. Multiple different books, but they all was pretty much done. I want to say around the same time frame. So what you'll see is these. Let me see if I can get a date out of here. What you'll notice is that these people are coming over. They are being given names. Let me go way down. This one don't have dates on it. I think this one might. Nobody filled in the date, but notice the 190. So you know it was done in the 1900s, right? While they playing games. They should have put a number right there. But you know it was done in the 1900s. And here they are, of course, getting new names. And now these names kind of coincide with what I was saying. Like Hardin, like James Hardin. How did they get the Hardin last name? You got the Hardins, you got Priest, you got Rice, like Jerry Rice, football players, basketball players. Last name Mallory. I need to plug this in. Last name Wolf, Walker, Thunder, Chief. That's kind of funny on the last name Chief. One of my people said their last name was Chief in the paperwork. I'm going to have to keep that in mind, but that's likely not that. So anyways, this was done in the 1900s. So in the 1900s, they were giving away names to these Siberians. Now, how do I know these are the Siberians and not us? Well, we had just, this was done in a little bit later 1900s. It said 1880 to 19 whatever, but it's 1930, 40, whatever it said. Man, hold on, this thing about to die. It said I had 10%. I looked up. 2 seconds later, it said I got 5%. Or 7. And 6 now. God damn. Battery power ain't never went down that fast. Alright, whatever. I'm plugged in. Okay, so what you have is, it said 1880 to 1900, but really these ain't done likely to the 1900. They just playing games. And the reason why I'm saying that is because where did they get the names from to give to these folks? Well, who else just did an actual role with their names? Well, that would be your black folks, your so-called freedmen, right? The Dawes Rolls happened in the late 1800s and stopped by like 1908, 1905, somewhere right there, okay? So we done went up there, gave them all these names, and then after that, now they go to these Indians or these fake folks, and they like, man, we need to give y'all some names. Where we gonna get a whole list of names from? Well, you can look at your census forms or the Dawes Rolls, one of the two, and you can get you all kind of names if you really wanted to, right? Where else you gonna get a whole big giant amount of names to just give away, right? Or did they just make these up out of their head? Long, Butler, Walker. Maybe they did Fishtail, but you got Prophet. One just says Little Boy, okay. Gilbert, whatever. So did they come up with these? So then when you also look at what I was showing people last night, is this yearbook from 1957, which this yearbook is a supposed American Indian school, okay, supposedly, But I just showed you what they look like, and this one isn't as apparent that it's an American Indian school. By 1957, it looks almost more like your normal YT school. Let me see if I got the other one down here. But I mean, it should say it up in there because it does. Because it'll tell you what tribe they from. So fuck it. Even if I ain't got, I know they got the other ones down there somewhere. But okay. But this is just a little bit more modern from 1957. Now, when we go in here, you have people. Now, it tells you what tribe they're from. They're a Choctaw. They're a Choctaw person, Chickasaw person, Osage, a Choctaw, a Creek. They had all these people all in school together. Osage, Apaches, Creeks. They was all in one school together. Cherokees, Seneca, Choctaw, Creek, Seneca. When did they get them all rounded up into one school like this under different random ass tribes? Does any tribes have stories of being mixed in schools like this? Cheyenne, Creek, Papango, Creek, Sac and Fox, Creek, Choctaw, Shawnee. I can at least understand some of if they were in the same region to a degree. Some of these people are like the Seneca. That would be New York, Seneca Village, right? Creek, Ponca, Creek, whatever. Now, a lot of the Choctaw Creeks and Caddos, they were all in Oklahoma, so I'm not surprised. Because I think this might have been in Oklahoma. But these are the people. These are your Indians in 1957. These are your Indians with our last names: Jones, Johnson, Johns, Jameson, Jackson, Jacobs, Isaac, Howerton. I don't know about that. Collier. I definitely know there's a Michael Collier. I forget who he is. He's somebody, but I think he might be an actor or something. Childers, Cabazon, Brian Bruner, and I just showed y'all the Bruner last name, whatever, was in my homeboys, Sir York. So this is already, some Colliers. Yeah, probably, and they likely black. So this is 1957. You got people that don't even look like they've been mixed with anything, claiming to be a full-blooded something, and somehow has your surname. And they don't. And when y'all say Indians were doing all kind of mixing, where the mixes at? Let's go look at bigger amounts of them, because all of those look about the same. So let's look at the ones like these, so you can see a bunch more at one time. Where the mix at? This is 1957. Come on now. Where the mixing? Where's the mix? Whoops. Where's the mixed breeds? Can you spot the mixed breeds? Browns and Jones is crazy work, right? Can you spot the mixed breeds? Let me see what y'all said. There is a huge issue. Browns and Jones is crazy. 8-9. We didn't come along until later. We didn't come along until later. I don't know what you mean by that. Unless you mean like you're one of them. Yep, they are melanated. They look Spanish. Mm-hmm. So they look all kind of different ways. Like, what is he? What is he? Compared to him, some of these look like he looked like he could be a modern day YT Mexican, even though that's really more of a Spaniard Russian looking thing. He looks like a damn, straight Asian, right? Yeah. Possibly Filipino, but his eyes are too small to me to give me Filipino. Some of these people, like, I don't know, who gives me Filipino on this page? These people are different, dude. These people are weird looking, okay? And I'm trying to look, but I'm just like, these people are fucking. Let me put that so y'all can see some names while I'm looking at these. So, like, when you look at this, where are the mixed breeds at? Right? Where are the mixed breeds? Do you see any? And this is 1957, mind you, well after slavery times when they were supposedly already mixed in with us, right? They supposedly already have mixed in. All the Indians, most of the Indians either mixed in with white tees or black folks. Well, where that at? Where's it at? Because these people in 1957, they could have some YT mix, or some could just be straight YTs. Like, what is that? Now, that looks like what you would call a modern-day Mexican, Hispanic-looking dude with them eyes, but what really is it, What is that? What is that? What is he? What are these people? What is that person? Vietnamese? Some of these people could be Vietnamese. I didn't even think about that. So what's the difference between the way Vietnamese people look and Filipino people? Let's look. Let's just Google that. Sometimes I like to see visually. Vietnamese people. And we're also going to put dark-skinned Vietnamese people. But let's take a look at some Vietnamese people. You know what I'm just thinking about? The Vietnam War. When was that shit going on? But that might have been later. That might have been like 70s or 80s. That might have been 70s, 80s. I was about to say, is that when these motherfuckers was flooding in too? Like every time they would do these wars, they would flood these immigrants in. But these are definitely some of those people. Like look at your Vietnamese. Definitely some of them. Definitely some of these folks is them. But let me look at some. Let's look at some dark skinned Vietnamese. Okay, they don't really get that dark. Unless you would really have to mix, because they'll tell you that they got some dark-skinned Vietnamese, but you'd really have to mix with somebody to really get dark. Yeah, I'm not going to accept that as dark. That's like the darkest of the white shade you can dark, okay? And I don't call it dark. Tanned, okay? Bitch got a tan. And I don't want to say that's the darkest of the YT, because there's people out there that get a little darker. But so that's your Vietnamese though, and I can definitely see some of these folks in there. But let's take a look at Filipinos, Filipino people. Of course, these are not the whatchamacallit. So let's look at the difference. You got this. See, it's so crazy because you can see it. Like that's a Filipino. That's a damn Vietnamese. Filipino, Vietnamese. Filipino, Vietnamese. And I can see, I just can't tell what the difference is. I just can't verbally tell you, but I see the shit. You know what I'm saying? They all come from Chinese people. Yes, but the thing is, they're so subtle of differences in people's phenotypes that they can trick you. Just saying that they all China kind of skews our brain. Because when they bring over some different Chinese looking folks and they say that they're Native Americans, you'll believe it. Because you say, well, they don't look like your normal Chinese. But we got to know that these people have distinct differences. And when they mate with each other, they continue those same traits with each other. It's not until even he has to mix to get whatever he's got going on. And then you got to ask, what does a baby look like between that person and that person that's a woman? Whatever. But what would they look like? Now, very much so they would look similar, but I would beg to tell you that they would look like one of these weird folks, these in-betweeners. We'll call them the in-betweeners. Okay? They're in between those folks and other folks, but they're not exactly. They damn sure not mix with us. First of all, let's say that. They're damn sure not mix with any of us. But they're not like this dude is somebody who's just super YT, right? But they're not exactly like this dude who's almost like a Spaniard, but not really. What is that? And what is that? But now you got to understand what's the differences between different YT groups and different Asian groups. Because a Russian, you may think a Russian which is a normal white looking person, but they have a distinct look. from a normal English, like a person from England. So, and I was telling this last night that I dated like two or three, at least two girls I dated that were Russian and black. There was another one that I just met but they were Russian and black. That like their mom was or dad was like direct Russian. So like you see the differences. It's like, yeah, you look like a mulatto. Yeah, you look like your average black and white mix, but your facial structures and your body shape, it was a little different. They always have a little bit different body shape. But your facial structures also were different. So then you got to think like, what, this could be like a Siberian mixed with a Russian or something, right? This could be a German mixed with a Spaniard. Y'all don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know what some of these mixes are is what I'm getting to. That's what I'm getting to. We don't know what some of these mixes are. So when they put these folks in our face and they don't tell us their history, and at that time we didn't probably know much about world history like that, where we could see people's phenotypes on Google real fast. You couldn't do that in 1957. So if you wasn't well traveled, you would just kind of accept something. They'd be like, these are your Indians right here. You can't tell. And you would be looking at them like, well, they don't look white and they don't look like me black, because construction of race shit in America has forced everybody into two boxes when even they don't have two boxes under their own race, right? Everybody looks a certain kind of way. Let's just do this. Let's see. That trips me out. Just that alone trips me out. Now let's do a few of them actually before I get off of that. Japanese people. Let's put a bunch of little side-by-sides going on. Okay. We'll use him for an example. Okay. What's the next one? We're gonna do Thailand people. Ooh, okay. We in phenotype class this morning. We're gonna find males since I already got males up. We're in phenotype class this morning. Thailand, we're gonna say we got a Vietnamese person up already. Korean person. I should have said people. No, okay. Let's go with that guy. Well, he's looking kind of. He's probably more your average Korean. Okay, so let's just look at some side by sides. Okay, let's see if y'all can get these. It's gonna tell you. So we have the Vietnamese person. Okay, the Filipino. Okay, eyes got a little smaller. They still got the droop coming down. The droops with the swoop, but his eyes look a little bit more angered, whereas his eyebrows are a little bit more straight. That Siberian kind of has that arched eyebrow, that fucking Goku shit going on a little bit. He kind of got that. He's got a big nose though, decently sized nose. His nose decently sized too. Lips about the same. It's kind of hard to say what the differences is, but you see him. But then you got a Japanese person. Now, what the hell is that? Okay, compared to these, he definitely looks distinct. Can you verbally say what you see? The eyes are a little different. They do all swoop downwards. His eyebrows are a little more straight, similar to his, but not. Eyes are bigger. Eyes are wider than his. Eyes are wider than theirs, even though he's kind of drooping them down. No, I don't know. Okay, Thailand. The hair looks the same. Exactly. Those be the carryover features. let us know. That's the universe. Let us know who they are. Now, they got different phenotypes, but we're going to realize what side of the game you on with that hair. Now, yeah, look at your Thai people. And if he's got his eyes too low, there's a guy over there that's Thai too. Tai too. I Tai too. I Tai too, right? And so is she. And she looks different from the other women. And then we have your Korean. Now, god damn it, they all look different, okay? and if you mix them together, what does that make, man? I know it says, yeah, I know it's hard to explain, but you do see it. Say Japanese have larger eyes. Yeah, I can definitely kind of see the larger eyes in the Japanese. What's up, Hypnotic Rain? Critical thinking is back, right? We think critically over here. The hair artists say, "Yeah, Japanese hair thicker." I didn't. You know what? I didn't notice the differences in the hairs. Let's take a look at the difference in the hair. Let's see. Vietnamese. It is kind of just laying there, not too puffed out. Filipino, but it's kind of hard to tell because it's kind of kept up. You can tell he's got a fresh cut. Here goes some Filipinos. Kind of thick, kind of not. Somewhat, I wouldn't really call it thick, but I guess it's just a hairstyle because it really just kind of lays down. So the Japanese, I could say that it almost looks a little wider, like the strands might be wider or something, but it could just be the lighting. But I think somebody said a little bit thicker. It could be a little bit thicker. It does look like it has a little bit of volume, a little bit. And here's some upkept Thailand folks. Their hair looks pretty standard. And you're Korean. Now let me just put Chinese just for the hell of it. Chinese person. Your average Chinese, right? Well, we should really look at a couple others. Yeah, Jackie Chan. Let's see. What's a good average Chinese? I guess these are your average Chinese, folks. I feel like he's got a mix in him. Yeah, I guess some of these are your average Chinese. Now, what about Siberian person? Okay. All right. We know that's not it. Siberian person. I don't know I don't know what they are exactly. They call them Native Americans. Right. They call them Native Americans, but they look definitely Asian. Like all of them, they're not getting away from the Asian look, right? If anything, they're not getting away from the Asiatic look at all. But they have distinct looks and features. Let's say, I'm gonna have so many damn tabs open. I said Siberian. What's the other one? Siberian, Mongolian person. See, they still kind of look. They still got that distinct Asiatic thing going on. But they look. You could probably put them close to some of these people that's directly in Asia. If we went, I would put them close to Filipinos and maybe Thai people or something like that. They can't run from it, bro. Right? They all they trying, man. Well, let me look on the map and see what I'm missing. Let's see if there's a zone I'm missing that I wanted to really look at. We looking deep into these folks. Mongolians, we looked at them. Chinese folks, we looked at y'all. I don't really care about it. Once you get to India and Afghan, things really get weird. Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodian. So there's some Cambodian people. We already did Filipinos and shit. We pretty much done. We did some Koreans. We pretty much done Yemen. mains, you know. We pretty much done your mains. Once you get over here to India and stuff, things really weirded up. And always, especially up in here. Now, they said this is where life started, where they blowing everybody up. Okay, life didn't start over here. Y'all over there destroying everything and each other. But so yeah, so we kind of got a good idea on what these folks look like. Other than that, it's just going to be mostly YT folks, and then your Africans and your Middle Eastern looking folks and your East Indian looking folks. Because you got to think your East Indian folks look different from the Arab folks, looks different from the certain kind of YT folks, and there's a lot of different things. So just to get back to what we was talking about, like when I say that these people, we're not really mixed with any Siberians, that mix would have to be a really, really, really late mix, because as you can see, these people in these schools who would have been in part of those tribes, the 5 civilized tribes, they would have went to these schools, these Oklahoma schools, right? And they would have been showing a mix. But instead, they have our surnames, but they do not have the mix. So you got to think, did they get the white? So if we got our names from white folks, which is not the case, you got to think about that story. So think about it. YT folks came in here. They said, hey, we're going to give all these Negroes our last name because those are my slaves. And Dunaway, like Faye Dunaway, that's right. Those are my slaves, so they're going to get my name, right? And so white folks gave all the black folks their name, right? Just giving it away like candy, okay? And to confuse both them and us for whatever reason, right? And then later they said, hey, all these people that are Indians, Native Americans, not Indians, we the Indians, but that are Native Americans that we're going to put in as a buffer group to be Indians, like this dude right here. What the hell is that, man? What the fuck is that? But anyway, all these people, we're going to give them our names too. Yeah. We're gonna give the names. Why are we giving them our names? Well, according to them, to make them better traceable. Because I want you to have my name so I can trace y'all, so the government can trace y'all better. Not so I can personally trace y'all better, so the government can trace y'all better. Hard Joe. If they don't get out of here. So that's the story when you think about it. The YT folks gave their names to everybody they came into these American shores because they just wanted to help y'all out so they can put you in a system, right? They were taking our souls' names away. Yeah, Lou Diamond Phillips looking people. He had to tell people that he was Filipino, not Mexican. Betty James Brown, y'all laughing at them names. They were taking the energy of our people. I think, because names are important. Names do hold weight, especially in numerology. When you do your birth chart, your name is calculated into a numerological number that also goes into, calculating your birth chart. I think they gave them our old identities after we unalive. And a combination. So what happened prior to this? And so there's all this stuff is happening around this same time. So let me show you. Let's see if I can get to... What's the best way to start? I was going to get back to those books. Family Register Indians. I wanted to show the years, but I don't want to go back. So we'll just go right here. So we know that these happened in the 1900s, and it really happened in the later 1900s, like maybe like 1910, 20-ish or so. That's probably why they didn't do that. But regardless of that, even if you go with like 1905, whatever. Well, let's look. When did the Dawes Rolls happen? Let's say that. Let's first do that. What year were the Dawes Rolls? Of course, it's not going to spell it the way I want. Well, your Dawes Rolls years were from 1898, a little bit before that, actually. from what I've seen, remember, but I could be wrong, to 1914, right? So they're collecting our names, calling us freedmen, saying we were slaves, doing all that stuff, right? Playing games, right? So what else is important? What other years are important? Well, when did the Indian tribal governments dissolve? Around 1898, Curtis Act. Let's see. Indian tribal governments were not dissolved all at once, but their authority was significantly undermined, and the culminating was the Curtis Act in 1898. So let's say, when did the Chickasaw? When did the Chickasaw tribal governments dissolve? 1906. Why is that important? Well, let's look at some other ones. Choctaw. And what does it mean by dissolving the government? 1906. Let me also say this. They dissolved the governments, but when did the Choctaw government get reinstated? They reinstated it. When did they do that? Now, this one says the three-branch modern government of the Choctaw was reinstated by the 1980s. Now, I thought there was formed even before then, if I'm not mistaken. 1980s, no, yeah. Let me just say, when did the Indian tribal governments get reinstated? So I'm not talking about one particular tribe. The Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, which would actually be is what they're referring to on here, but that would actually be the Reclassification Act. So notice you have a reclassification of Indians to Negroes happening too. At the same time, you have the Indian governments being dissolved prior. So you dissolve the Indian government. You force your way into, as YT folks, into the government first. Between 1766, when the white folks got here, and I can pull those documents up, I don't feel like getting my iPad. I mean, my whatchamacallit out, not iPad, my MacBook. But between 1766 to when a bunch of white folks started coming into the Chickasaw territory, and then westward expansion of many other white folks after 1803 Louisiana Purchase, next thing you know, YT folks pushed themselves to the top of the Indian governments. And you'll see them in the Indian government documents, such as Chickasaw Legislator 1864. Or something like that. It might be 1866. Right here. General Laws of the Chickasaw Legislature. Notice you still have a government going in 1866 up to 1870. And in that government, there are now senators who are not Indians, but people who were on that boat, as well as others. Kemp, with the last name of Kemp, Jackson Kemp, J.D. Collins, Lewis Newberry, Humphrey Colbert, couple Indian names. William George, William M. Brown, an Indian name. J.A. Smith, Ward, Johnson, Percy, an Indian. Kill, Colbert, Welch. If these people were to vote, who's going to win? Who's going to win out of this if these representative votes? These Indian-looking names that have like three, or these white folks, right? So you get the white folks coming into the governments, and then you got to wonder, did they come into the government because they really just wanted to be part of the government and really better the Chickasaw Nation? Well, no. Like I showed you, they dissolved the Chickasaw Nation by 1904 or 1906. All right, so they dissolved the Chickasaw nations and dissolved all the governments. Then, during that same time, they're registering you black folks as freedmen. So as they've now registered some of y'all as freedmen, the other ones, they put you on the census form as a slave. So they got you on both back ends to call you a slave, right? Then they turn around after the Dawes Rolls and the censuses. Dawes Rolls was later. After the freedom, because the Dawes Rolls happened well after freedom, but they were classifying people as slaves well after freedom. Also, what I was getting to that happened next, they dissolved the governments, then they reclassified, then the Reclassification Act becomes law. So they already technically reclassified you by putting you down as a freedman, to be honest. But you was also a non-reservation Indian living in the United States land masses outside of the reservations. So they had to, but by that time, I don't even know why they still did it. But either way, they reclassified you, right, as a Negro, even though you had already, by 1928, you had already been on the census as a Negro and freedman, so I guess that don't really matter. But then, all of a sudden, they start registering Indian families on the, well, like what I was showing. Now they're giving away the Indian names to some other people because they can't be giving them away to us. We just already had our names taken down. We got our names put on census forms now. Why is this? Why would this even be a thing? And the people in Oklahoma were already recorded on Dawes Road. So what Indian families are being registered is what you have to ask in 1930s, 20s, 30s, 20s, 30s, 50s, whatever it said all throughout here. What Indian families are fucking being registered around that time? Well, they're registering the same folks who end up in these schools who look like they ain't never been mixed a day in their life. And they have those same surnames. Now, what are these schools for? Well, these are your boarding schools. By this time, the Chicolo school isn't as much of a boarding school, so to speak. As you can see, Indian Designs, Chicolo Indian Agricultural School, okay? But let's look at, hopefully to the copy for real, the ones before this 1957, because there's some books, yearbooks prior to 1957. They just look a little weird. I wanted you to see one that looked more realistic with photographs instead of drawings or whatever. All right, 1956. Here's 1932, 1931, 1933. Those are going to be some of our oldest. Indian and Arts Industries, 1927, 1928. Primitive agriculture of the Indians. And think about this. I just thought about this. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that these niggas went to a agricultural school and they ain't got shit? They don't do shit with agriculture still? The schools were mostly west of the Mississippi. Yeah, this one was in Oklahoma in itself. But think about that. Y'all know they don't be doing nothing with no agriculture. What the hell is an agriculture school? And let's see, what does this look like they doing agriculture? Does that look like they doing? Let's see if they look like they doing agriculture in this book. Because this is the agriculture school. Okay. These people don't look like they're ready to teach agriculture. Okay. Let's go past the photographs of the kids just kind of being in school. I was looking at those little side photos here. That just kind of caught my attention. Like, there's no agriculture going on here. What does that say on it? It says report card on the board. 2 people are reading. Okay. I would think you would be trying to be in the field or dealing with animals of some type. Looks like you're beading or of some type. It's nothing to do with agriculture. Was the agriculture school a ruse just to hide the fact that they're teaching them how to be real in the stuff that they want the so-called Native American culture to be like? What are these people doing? There's some animals. Oh, they might be feeding the ducks. Maybe they're feeding the ducks. I don't know what they're doing because that field is empty. It looks like they might be playing football. Yeah, they're playing football. What's that got to do with agriculture? Not to say you can't have sports, but where the agriculture at? There's some ducks, okay. They got the marching band, okay. Well, surely somebody has milked a motherfucking cow. Surely somebody has milked a fucking cow or something in this bitch. The Honor Society, the Dramatics Club, the National Guard. I'm just noticing the arts and crafts. You slimy motherfuckers. What does this got to do with agriculture? And how come y'all never made it to the NBA or the NFL? They ain't never recruited none of y'all motherfuckers. Anyway, wrestling, baseball, track, physical education, trades, okay. We got some agriculture going on. I was wrong. Somebody, he's holding some cows. So the agricultural school does have a little bit of agriculture there. They're probably tilling the same grounds and working, but economics. That's about all you got for the agriculture part of the agriculture school. Okay. Now, mind you, the whole school is predicated to be an agricultural school, but that's the end. Yeah, that's crazy. Let me just go up to the top to make sure I'm not tripping. That this is what it called it. It says, hey, this is Chicolo Indian Agricultural School, Chicolo, Oklahoma. Okay, yeah. Courtesy of Chicolo Weaving Department. The weaving department? Like basket weaving? Unless that means something else. I don't know, man. When I say everything about this is fucking off. Everything about it is off, okay? And let's go to the older ones I was going to show you. That's crazy. I'm going to see if it said agriculture school on that bitch. So these are your three olders. And it's crazy, too. You have three older books. Notice the years. 1931, 32, 33. But then I don't get another one listed until 1956. And it goes up from there. Now, let me Google it. Because I may have yearbook. I remember finding a list. Yeah, right here. Let me see what years this shows. Yeah. It's the same thing because these come from the Oklahoma archives, Oklahoma Historical Society. 1919. You know what? I don't know if I've seen the 1919. Let me click that. 1931, 32, 33, 34. There's 49. They got 34 and 49 that the archive don't have, but then it just skips. You see how it just skips? Almost like what was going on between those years? What was happening? I'm always looking at everything, right? Like why y'all don't want me to see them? Let's look at this 1919. I haven't seen this one. So this would be kind of cool. The Chicolo Senior Class Annual. The senior class of the U.S. Indian School, Chicolo, Oklahoma. Look at that school. Look how it's built. Look at the stonework. Looks pretty old world like, doesn't it? You think they built that? Or did they just cut an area out and slap something on that bitch? That's what y'all say, Beautiful, right? It is. And that's after they made it mandatory for us to be in public school. I didn't think about that. Sitting down all day. Oh, you talking to the trees? Yeah. So look at that. We pay attention to everything. Not just me. Y'all pay attention to. Look at that shit, man. So let's see. What does this say? Class 19 keeps its ideals in memory. Do y'all see any mixes in here? Whoops, my bad. Do y'all see any mixes in here? Do y'all see any Indians? Or do they look like Spaniards and other little random things? Who is that lady? Yeah. Oh, I guess I could do this. My bad. Yeah. Come on now. They look just like those people in those books. Like these people right here, I don't even know, man. They definitely don't look like your today's fake $5. But some of them do. But at the same time, they don't look like they have any mixes. She looks like man, like I can't pinpoint the name of some of these things that I'm thinking in my head. These, like that guy right there. But some of the, definitely some Asiatics, but some of these people are not Asiatics. That's why I wanted us to look earlier too at all those different Asiatics. Notice that when we pulled up photographs of all those different people, that they all had distinct Asiatic features while still looking different. These people don't all look Asiatic. And that Asiatic look, like somebody said earlier, that Asiatic look was hard to shake. Said they are different looking people. Exactly. Check the pic I sent you in DMs. Hold on, I do got my other phone. They say you grew up with her. Her name is Louise Yokoi. She is Japanese and YT. And in the first picture is her brother's children that he had with a YT woman. They are what you would call today those people Asian European mix. Okay. So she's showing this would be the lady, and then kind of like look at that offspring. Look at that, man. See, and you can see it, and it's a distinct Asiatic right there. But you definitely see it's a particular type of Eurasian look. Like she almost looks like she could be, well, they almost look like they could have like the YT person can be from one of them Czechoslovakian kind of whites or Polish, or not really Polish. Polish is more YT. I don't know, man. It's hard to peg these folks with they different mixes. That's crazy. That's why we were never meant to mix. Speak your native tongue. Rose, are you asking me to speak my native tongue? Is that what you asking? Rose, or are you talking to somebody else? You can see it for sure. They look no different than the rest of the mestizos in Central and South America. Yeah, they do look like the mesties. Troglodytes. Them troglodytes. Let's see what you're saying. We are speaking our tongue. Oh, you probably mean our tongue. Yadia Navajo. They was speaking grunt. Trolls are awake. Speak your Siberian tongue. What's up, John Blackhawk? Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Rose must be on that BS. But so yeah, you can't shake that Asiatic look, and some of these people do not have that. But so this is how you know they just kind of mixing in. So these are some of those photos that were on those historical things that they said were where they purposely made these photographs to erase the Indian, the savage, and these were they supposed, because these are pretty old. But they also look at that person. Come on now. That's not an Indian. If y'all don't quit playing with me. And they said that's Seneca, Missouri. Like, if y'all don't quit playing with me, man, she looks straight up like Greek. Like, what does Greek people look like? Let's do that real quick. Let's do a European search. A European phenotype lesson real quick while I'm chilling. Let me just make sure my schedule's still clear till later. Okay, I'm still clear for right now. So let's do a little phenotype check in the goddamn area. Okay, so I want to start by looking at, like, what does let's say, Romanian people look like, okay? And then we'll get back to this book. Oh, that's the other one, too. We're going to have to get back to both of those. Romanian person. Romanian person. All right, so here's some Romanians. They look like your, it's going to be kind of hard to tell until we get some more white tea folks up. So let's not judge until we see some more. But some look a little slight white tea Arabish going on right there, if that's them. But some of them look purely whatever. But also YT folks have been taking over these areas. So we're looking at modern times. I'm not talking about before, unfortunately. And some of them might look like that, right? But some of them might look like that or like those people. So let's look up a different people. Let's say Poland people. Poland person. Well, phenotype lesson this morning. Okay, so I definitely, if these people are Polish, we'll definitely have to pull up the ish on them, right? People from Poland. They're not the original Poles. And they're no more really an ish. They're really Germans at this point. But so these, let's just look. Okay, we'll do these two since that's a man and a woman. So that's your Poles. And then we got your Romanians. So you definitely see a difference between this man and this woman and this man and this woman, right? Wide eyes, not so wide, but he's kind of whatever. The hair color, the skin color still about the same, so they don't fool you. And the hair is still about the same, but the color is different. One's just completely devoid of any melanin, pretty much, in the hair follicles. Let's do German people. German person. Okay, let's see if we can peg this. Because, you got your Albert Einstein shit. But younger, they could have okay. These are okay, so here's a good case on your Germans, I guess. To a degree. Let me see if there's some more regular run-of-the-mill, this ain't my professional headshot German. Like that. But still, I can see that's German, Now, a lot of these look like the people in America. Some of it. Because a lot of the people in America do have German descent, but they have other shit, too. Some mixes and shit like that. But, I can definitely see that. He almost looks like, so I think that's a good representative of a German. He almost reminds me of the dude from the Rocky movie, but young, young-faced, okay? But let's look at the Poland guy, right? And that Poland guy, let's look at a real Poland that's not super polished. And there he goes right there, right? Or something like that when they get old, right? Real dusty. Let's look at somebody that's not super polished over here, since I'm going to do them like that. Okay, like her. She's definitely not super polished. But I like to find somebody young and not super polished instead of old. Because when you look at the old, you don't know, our looks kind of change in our older years. So who's okay, he's young, German. I can see that, okay? Young, German, regular-looking guy, right? Young, somewhat young, or middle-aged Polish type of guy, right? Let me find me a middle-aged, regular-looking Romanian dude. Because those people are kind of polished. That's your old when they get old, right? When they get a little old on us. Let me see if they got one. Like a little Facebook photograph. There you go. Romanian guy right there. See? Regular Facebook old Romanian. Okay? So now you got him. What happened? Oh, him, and him, right? German. So we see the differences, but there are definitely the similarities. So let's look at a couple others, and then we'll get back to the little whatever. Let's look at somebody from Sweden. That's way up there, right? Sweden person. Sweden person. Now let's look for an everyday run-of-the-mill Sweden person. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely gotta upload this. This shit's crazy. I ain't never looked up this many phenotypes at one time, to be honest with you. Where's some regular old photos of a regular old Swede-ish? German Swede. Where you at? Where's a good regular photo? Okay. I would say there's your regular Swede. Swedish person. Okay, so Germany. I lost it. Right here. Germans. Right? Swedish. Polish. Boy. Romanian. Right? I ain't gonna look up no more, but they different. They they definitely have some differences. And if we was to look up Lithuania, Estonia, Belarus people, and Hungarian people, Austrian people, they're all Czechoslovakian, all these people, and then you get to your Spaniards and shit. Spanish, no more Spaniards probably exist. Well, no, they do. There's some black folks probably over there, some Moors, and then you talk about your differences within the Middle East alone. Okay, now you got to think all these people are given okay to have their own respective looks, names, cultures, whatever. But when it comes to these people and these people, oh, y'all just these people. All y'all just the fucking African, okay? Even though all these people look different and deformed, okay? But but our people don't. We don't look that deformed. There's an ugly nigga here and there, but yeah, here and there. But for the most part, people look pretty amazing. Not only just that, when you look at a lot of explorers talking about the people when they get here, they talk about how gorgeous, how beautiful, how handsome these people are. I don't know if I've seen any books when they explored Africa of them mentioning anything of the sort, but I haven't read that many books about Africa, So I mean, I'm just saying they may not have thought that about y'all, but and that's pretty apparent. But they thought that about us. You know what I'm saying? They say, hey man, these people are gorgeous. These people are amazing looking, man. God damn, they keep themselves up, clean. The women pussy smell good, all that good shit. You know what I'm saying? Stanky pussy hoes. Anyway, so before I get banned, let's get back to the lesson, to the yearbook that I was looking at. That was kind of cool. I'd be tripping, don't I? So this is 1913. Not the cat. What's up, Gia? Let's see. So these people, as you can tell, none of these people. Yeah, you got to get a quick. I always got to roast real fast and get back to the words, get back to the lesson. So people don't get a little bit too upset. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. What's going on, Gia? I'm gonna throw you out there, mod you out there. Get in touch with him. All right, so now look at this dude. Is that an Indian? That's what they want you to believe, but what is it? What is it for real? We've been looking at phenotypes. That could be a damn Japanese mixed with a goddamn Filipino mixed with a damn Russian or something. I don't know, but he's a Comanche at this point. He's an undeniable Comanche. She, which I feel like we've seen her same face before on here. She's a Muskogee Creek. Didn't we see a girl with a big ass chin like that earlier? It's like y'all using it. Boy, y'all got some pronounced ass chins. You look like some people from Greece. But okay. Regardless of that. Now look at that. What is that? He looked like he could damn near be one of us. You know what I'm saying? But he done got mixed in with an Asiatic. And that's done happened in him. So that's the only word I can say. At least he might have a little some of us in there, because them lips and that nose and even a little bit of them eyes is kind of telling a story on them. This is definitely Marcus Freeman. Was that? I don't know. What's his real name over here? Tribe. He's a Choctaw. Okay. He could be. He could have a little bit of Choctaw in him. One of us. Blacksmithing. Pet phrase is hello scabby. I don't know what the hell is up with that. Ambition to be a second Ford. Okay. What is his name? What's this nigga's name though? Oh, my bad. Alfred Pike. Get out of here, dude. Get your ass out of here. Yeah, y'all seen it before. I'm just not looking down. If you don't get the fuck out of here, everybody knows a goddamn Alfred Pike. Ain't it Alfred Pike? Or is it, that is the same Pike, right? Alfred? Or is it a different, Albert Pike? Which Pike is it? A Pike? Which Pike is it? Morals and Dogma author Albert, and what was his name? Alfred. Oh, it was Alfred versus. Oh, okay. It's different. But quit playing games. Because where else did he get the Pike name? Now, Pike could have came from us, and Albert Pike stole it. But that could be his name too. And Albert Pike was a high up Mason who wrote that book I just showed you, Morals and Dogma, which is a high Masonic book. And what's funny about Albert Pike? Well, let me show you. Since they done threw the word Pike in there, let me just show you why Albert Pike was important to that.
Their troops from Indian Territory, leaving the Indians with no protection. But Albert Pike, Confederate Indian Commissioner, soon signed treaties with the Cherokee.
But Albert Pike, Confederate Indian Commissioner, he was the Confederate Indian Commissioner who was tasked to do all of the treaties. The same person who wrote Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite, talking about basically high Masonic order. He's the guy that predicted the 3 world wars. They still trying to make that third one happen, right? That's the guy who was tasked with signing up all the Indians. Well, he ain't got a dishonest bone in his body, right? He's a perfectly honest man. I think everything he does is ethical and moral, right? It has to be. Whoops, hold up.
And sent all their troops from Indian Territory, leaving the Indians with no protection. But Albert Pike, Confederate Indian Commissioner, soon signed treaties with the Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole nations, and with the Wild Plains tribes in Western Indian Territory. He even signed a group of Osage led by Captain Black Dog.
Captain Black Dog looks like Captain Filipino, okay? Looks like Captain Cruise Ship. Oh my God. Jet Li, yeah, look, Captain Jet Li. Oh, Albert Pike assigned him? Oh, I'm not surprised. Mr. Albert Pike did that. He's an honest lad. You know, with all his morals and dogma book writing and things, you know, and corruption and being a high Mason and everything. Yeah. Let's see, this is the book right here. Actually, starts off with a Masonic thing going on. Morals and Dogma, Freemasonry. Ancient Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, the Supreme Council of the 33rd degree for the Southern Jurisdiction of the United States. For the Southern Jurisdiction of the United States? I've never read this. What year did this come out? I've always known about it, but I've never read it. There he goes, Mr. Albert Pike, sitting next to a globe. Do you think this picture is representative of him wanting to take over the world? Or maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm just reading a little bit into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just reading a little too into it. But It looks like he's representing him taking over the world. All right? But I'm just reading a little into it. That's Mr. Albert Pike, the Grand Commander, okay? Or whatever the hell that says. In 1871, entered into Congress, the Act of Congress in 1871, Albert Pike in the office of the Librarian of Congress. So this is in the Library of Congress. So this is in the Library of Congress. Morals and Dogma. Look at that. You got the checkered floor. You got the star, pentagram. You got the smoking, burning, right? Your herbs burning, but it's not the type of herbs we burn. You got the candles in a triangular pattern. Oh, there's a lot of symbolism going on while you have this star and the pages inside of the square there. Yeah, there's symbolism going on inside the checkered board, right? Oh, yeah. He's not doing anything wrong, right? He's just a Freemason, you know? And we're not going to go through the book, but I just wanted y'all to see, you know, some of the little things, and I've never really been through the whole thing, but they're talking about squares. What would they be talking about squares? I got to read this part. If we delineate a cube on a plane surface like thus, we have visible 3 faces, the 9 external lines drawn between 7 points to complete. Now, you wouldn't think it would be starting off like this, but think about it. All of the buildings they build these days are squares. A lot of the things they do are squares. Why would the book be starting off with squares? Why is the floor have a bunch of checkered square patterns? I'm going to have to read some of this, to be honest, just to get, but I ain't going to read the whole thing. This bitch long to the motherfucker. And I ain't trying to be no goddamn 33rd degree Mason. Look at that. Look how long this is. I ain't even a third away through scrolling through this whole. Got the key. I'll probably just read the motherfucking square motherfucking passage, but look at all this shit. Look at this shit. Look at that shit, man. And if you want to know how long I'm scrolling, look at where the scroll wheel is at. Look at that. Look at that. How long is this goddamn book, man? Motherfucker, keep going, okay? This is crazy. Oh, there's the pages. I was like, where are the pages? 1,249 pages. I'll be goddamn. Damn. 1,249 page book. I'm definitely not gonna read that whole thing. But part of me wants to, because it's like if I read it, I'll know what they be knowing, because they read it. But oh well, it said pure witchcraft and trickery, right? I may read it. Read that thing, Latrice. Ask ChatGPT to summarize each chapter. Oh, not a bad idea. They have their own Bible. Yes, I have seen it. I've seen that personally. When I used to do a lot of, I used to be a cable guy, and I was doing a lot of research about, in my 20s, about the Masons. And I was going around the customers' homes. And I remember going into a customer's home, and I looked to my right, and there was a Bible, and it said the Masonic edition. And I sat there and said, what the fuck? The Masonic edition? So, no, I remember. So, look at how those homes were built. Ask AI, ChatGPT, think about everything that is set up in squares, right? Exactly. And they start the whole book out talking about some squares. Almost like trapping a nigga. What y'all talking about? Trapping niggas? What is this? This is Albert Pike's book, Morals and Dogma. But as we see, this is the kind of stuff he was writing. So if this was the kind of stuff on his mind, you definitely know he wasn't thinking nothing good when he was signing the treaties with the Indians, with our people. Let's get these YT folks off the screen here. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to this book. I wanted to see if there was anything else that stood out here. What the hell are they wearing on their head? The Literary Society. Hiawatha. Wow. And I know that name. There's a dude that calls himself Kaba Hiawatha Kamene. Dr. Booker T. Coleman. But he's on that Moore shit. Heavy tough. Real tough. This looks like they in the armed forces. What you do? Bring them over to be part of the army? Think about that. What if they brought these people over to fight in the army and to fight against us at the same time? Minihana Literary Society onward. So this one's different. They're not showing agriculture, but they're also not really showing the same kind of whatever. And these people are dressed up in goddamn military outfits. These aren't Indians dressed up in goddamn military outfits. What is that, your JROTC class, nigga? The Sequoia Literary Society. And they're all dressed in military outfits. What the fuck? Why the fuck would they be dressed up in military outfits in 1913? Indians. Think about this. If these were the so-called Indians, do you know why you usually go to war as a or sign up for the service as an immigrant so you can get a citizenship? So you can get citizenship. Because the other school didn't show this, but remember that was 1932. And I clicked on this from the Oklahoma Historical Society, 1913. And you see these people, these same looking people in military outfits. What wars were going on during that time, people? Wouldn't it be your world wars? What year were the world wars? You know what's funny? 1914 to 1918. You know what's funny? My brain be working, boy. For some reason, you don't have another 1919. For some reason, you don't have another one until 1931. What were they doing in between that time? What were they doing in between 1919 and 1931? Where'd the school go? Where's the yearbooks? Or did you send them off to war? Was Chicolo initially a school for military training for immigrants to gear them up for the World War? Or am I just making speculation and sending us off, right? This is crazy. Now this is a new little speculation because 1931, you don't have that. I don't think we got the 1931 book up, I believe here. Or no, we already looked at 1931. I think this is 1949. Yeah, because we didn't look. So we looked at 1931. Every one of these folks have on military ass outfits. This day baseball team. Weirdos. What the fuck? The basketball team. Ain't nobody get signed to the NBA ever. Okay? Ever. And look at these folks, dude. These are not your Indians of today. These are just randoms. Chicolo track team. This is looking more like a military school. The Chicolo standard bearers, the offices. I've never seen them with military outfits this much. What the hell is that? Drawings? Hiawatha's return from college? Okay. So we just on some discovery right now, some discovery shit. Looks like somebody drew in the back of this shit or something. I don't know what's going on. And maybe that meant to be there, but let's go back up. So things to note. They don't call it Chicolo Agricultural School this year. Now I'm starting to look at changes. Because if it starts off at one thing, it's going to change to things and morph into what they do to ed. That's why it makes sense that when I look at it and it says it's an agricultural school and them niggas ain't doing agriculture, and today they still don't do agriculture like that, now it makes sense if you covering up the name of the school because it used to be a military training camp for immigrants. This is what in America? Excuse my country grammar, but for real. This is I said those are not Americans. What's up, Meta? The track T was getting cooked. They wasn't running fast for shit. So yeah, think about this. Now we got to think about the changes. Now I want to look at each succession of books real quick. Let me remove this. But yeah, but the World War was going on during that time. Okay? So to see them in a bunch of military outfits, like why would the military give them outfits? Think about that. If you're in boarding school, you would either be in the Indian clothes, casual clothes, or maybe your little dressed up suit and tie clothes. Where the fuck does military garb come into play? Let's look up. Okay, we're gonna go just from the few. We're gonna do 1919. We're gonna look at 1931. We're gonna look at 1932, and then 1933. And we're not gonna look like we ain't gonna like go directly through all of them. But okay, so like 1919, it was just called Chocolo 1919. Let me see if there's anything in here. The class of Chocolo, senior class annual, published by the senior class, Indian print shop. So nothing saying it's an agricultural school. Class 19 keeps it. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Class 19 keeps its ideals in memory. Why is it doing that? What the hell? Let me refresh this. I don't know. It keeps fucking. Being fucking weird. Okay. Then it just jumps into talking about the kids. Senior class. Owen. I guess I would have to read through here. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen. We, the members of the class 19, extend to you a cordial welcome, blah, 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 blah. Schoolmates and friends, on behalf of 19, I salute you this day, blah, 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 blah. Training, a sign of the word that we have received the training of Chocolo, which it is our boast to believe has always tended to cultivate an honest and manly character, a hatred of sham. Cultivate a hatred of sham? What do y'all think that means? Or what is sham? Ain't sham, is that Shem like the Israelite, or am I thinking something else? An honest character, and man, a hatred of sham? Screenshot. What the fuck am I uncovering this morning? A sign of the word that received the training of Chocolo, which it is our boast to believe has always tended to cultivate an honest and manly character, a hatred of sham, an earnest purpose to make the most of ourselves and serve our period of time as capable men and women and our country as good. It's like they just kind of threw it in there. Everything else sounds like normal, but the hatred of sham. Is it sham or shem? Yeah. The sons of Abraham. Ain't that what it's supposed to be? Or the lost tribes of Israel list. It's Shem. Okay. Well, what is a hatred of Sham? Unless they just purposely, phonetically, it sounds similar, but it could. Let me just etymology dictionary. A trick to put upon one, a hoax, a fraud, something that deludes or disappoints expectation. A word of uncertain origin, along with the verb no, cheat, trick, and the adjective false, pretended. The word burst into use around 1677, according to OED. Perhaps they are from sham, a northern dialectical dialectal variant of shame. So I guess that's okay. So if they're saying a hatred of shame, a derivation suggested by 1734, and which OED finds not impossible. The main modern sense of something meant to be mistaken. It must be something that we just know. I don't want to. It must be something else. I don't want to. It's still kind of weird, but okay. Because I damn sure thought it was a hatred of sham. Okay. Schoolmates, friends, blah, 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 blah. But okay. Sacagawea, wonderful women. So this is something about Sacagawea. So I was just trying to see what the school was saying it was about during this time. That's all I was trying to really do. With the colors at Camp Travis, Chicolo students in the Great War. What do you mean by that? When the call came for service during the great conflict which prevailed over the whole world, there were no more loyal supporters of the cause than the Indians. Chicolo students were first among the first to respond. There were between 160 and 170 of the finest young men that ever entered the army. I knew it. I goddamn knew it. I goddamn knew it. That's crazy. How many of these $5 natives told you they were veterans? How many $5 natives ever said on any of these panels that they were veterans? Told you they used the word in the military. A lot. Repeat that again. Okay. Let me read this to y'all. And I said that these people have on military-like outfits. Now, these people not so much. The ones below do. And in here you say Chicolo students in the Great War. What's the Great War? Well, they say when the call came for the service during the great conflict which prevailed over the whole world. Oh, what, a world war? A world conflict? And what did I say earlier? I said what was going on in 1913. We pulled up World War I was going on. And you know what they needed? Troops. And what do you get if you volunteer to be in the army? You get American citizenship. And when you get American citizenship, they place you where they want to place you. They allowed you to become Indians. When they say these people got over here on boats, not that long ago, they was not playing. Because where did these people come? They say the Indians. You think the Indians? Think about this. If these were the real Indians who had just fought tons of wars, been removed, all this other stuff for you. Excuse me. How many of them would really go fight in the world war to protect you? Is one thing that I'm getting at. Now, as I say that, I would say, well, us black folks have had YT folks do stuff to us a lot, yet we still fight in their wars. In many cases, we confused because really, if you think about all the stuff before you get to the World War, you really have a bunch of wars of Indians in the YTs. The world was warring with us. Really, when you think about it. So it's almost like they came up with this other world war, which a lot of it could have been fake too, because that's a whole nother story. We went over that the other day. How a lot of people are Germans, but the purpose of the World War I and II was to fight the Germans, but a lot of the people that came here were Germans. So, and then when the war was over, they let the Germans come live here in America, which don't make sense either. But here you got Indians, or I'm sorry, natives, who look like they're immigrants from everywhere else. Let me finish reading that. My bad. I'm sorry, y'all. It says when the call came for service during the great conflict which prevailed over the whole world, there were no more loyal supporters of the cause than the Indians. Chicolo students were among the first to respond. There were between 160 and 170 of the finest young men to ever enter the army from Chiloco. There are so many boys in the service that I cannot trace the history of them all. Really? Among them, whom we know to be overseas, are George Hummingbird, William Baker, George Williams, Charles Starr, and Steve Silversmith. The senior class is proud of the 5 members who were in camp but returned to school after the armistice was signed. They are George, whatever those names are. The first to answer the country's call were Eli Bunch, Thomas Hernans, different people. The Great Lakes, blah, blah, blah. But basically, I said it. I was like, why are these people dressed in military outfits? Why are they dressed in military outfits? And you have a military commander standing straight up. You look like he's a military commander, right? Why are they? Who has ever been told that these people fought in the wars? These people never say that they are veterans. And even if they are veterans, I'm not giving them respect because I 100% believe that the only reason why you have citizenship is because you fought in the war. Just like they do today. Africans fight in the war, Jamaicans fight in the war, which, those are people, but, different people, immigrants, fight in the war in order to get their citizenship. That's crazy. That's crazy. So let's look. So we know what this book is talking about. Let's look at the next one, which should be 1931. So several years later, after they done got back from the wars, I guess, because they just skipped everything. Still in a nicely old school kind of place. This is the administration. Now notice, I want you to notice one thing. Notice that symbol right there on every page. They didn't have that on the last one. Chiloco. Yeah, notice that symbol on every page. And at the bottom of the pages, just in case you needed a. So yeah, think about it. Yeah, they came here, went over here. We just saw in 1919 that they were getting ready to go fight the World War. They come back, have their next school session sometime in the 30s, 1931, and there's a lot of German swastika symbols all over the place. All right, well, I just paying attention, It's on every page with a sword, but I'm just, wondering why they changed it up, but whatever. That could have been the symbol before, and they just didn't put it in there. So okay, they'll make up something. Okay, so here's the people, right? They still have our last names: Bernie, Brown, Bohannon, Alec. That's not one of ours. Barnett, Crittenden, Chandler, Cole, Franklin, Harris, Hawkins, Hendrix, like Jimi Hendrix. That's Jimi Hendrix's cousin. Excuse me. Butler, whatever. All these, whatever. And you got to think, these people have our surnames, Jackson, whatever. And the reason why I say that is typically if you're so-called Black American, You said that's supposed to be a peace pipe. Oh, that's going across the screen. What's up, CR the Great? Ah, yeah. I do see that. That is a pipe, a little peace pipe with a feather hanging down. I had to get closer on that. It looked like a sword at first. But you got to think, your average black American, so-called, right? When you tell somebody you got the same surname, like if you were to say I'm a Harris, you all would immediately start having conversations trying to connect the dots. You'd be like, what, you a Harris, nigga? My grandma Harris. What? And then you'd be like, nigga, that's my nephew or my whatever. So who's your, so okay, let's break this down, and we'll start to break it down. You never hear that from these folks. Like, they got our last names, but they don't talk to us and hear our surnames or be on our live stream, see these surnames and see our surnames and be like, I got that. That's me. Let's connect the dots together. They don't, but they got our surnames. That's crazy. How does that work? And how come they're not so interested in trying to figure out what other Hawkins they're connected to? It's kind of funny. What other Hendricks you might be connected to? Hendrix could be spelled with an X, and that could be a pseudonym. I don't know. What other Jacksons you might be connected to? Are you connected to Michael Jackson? Was you the first unmelanated Jackson? Before vitiligo hit Michael, was you the first one? This nigga's bullshit. And Michael did not bleach his skin. He might have bleached it later on to go ahead and get the blotches of vitiligo that had been plaguing him for a while more evened out. But because it's like, why go around? Your face is going to already be blotchy. You might as well just take it one way. And I guess, you know what's crazy? I didn't think about it. Is there a treatment to remelanate the skin? I don't even know. And I bet there's a way to do it. But you know what? We don't need to do that. Because if we do that, these folks will go around and start getting melanation treatments from us or something. Start really playing games. Let me get that melanin treatment. Oh, shit. These white folks are buying melanin treatment. They blackwashing themselves now. All right. But as we can see, this doesn't talk about it being... Let me just double check because I missed this. It doesn't talk about it being an agricultural school. Though, blah, 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 blah. We have a environmental side, the community, blah, 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 blah. Dedication, blah, blah, blah. Loyal friends, whatever. The administration building, the Haworth Hall, home of two boys, home of one boys, home two, the girls' home, and that was it. So there was no agricultural field listed where they do they work, where they, so this isn't an agricultural school, all right, but it's still going. Okay, let's keep going down, see if I can get any other indications on what the hell they doing at this school. Vocations, okay. Farm plot, the pilot boys, pilots fighting wars too, but those aren't war outfits, so I'll just keep going. Okay, the laying house, whatever that is. The new calf barn. Okay, they got a little agricultural showing. Animal husbandry. Okay, that might have been a little bit of an agricultural school later. Definitely not in 1919. They didn't show none of these structures in 1919. But notice you don't see nobody inside the structures. Notice I'm just not noticing that now. Like, where the people at? Where the animals? Where the people? Okay. I'll accept some photos of just, they just trying to show you what it is. And now they have a photograph of the Chicolo Economics Club. I hear a I think it's that damn fly flying around in this bitch. I have to kill him. Okay. They finally got a photo of some people working on something. The carpenters. Now, I can't see nobody's face. And they almost look like they black. I could be tripping. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. It's just very, very dark. Hard to tell. But okay, they working on a house. Okay. Music. The Glee Club. Okay. Boys and Girls Glee Club. Well, I mean, y'all was so tough on the military before. Why are you not? Where'd the military activities go? Y'all was tough on it. It looks like they can't. Look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna let that sit there for a second while I grab something here. Try to get this damn fly. I'm gonna let that sit there for a second. Where is it at? Damn, it's gonna fuck with me. Alright, I'm coming back. Damn it. It's like a big ass fly in there, man. Buzzing around like a mug. Okay. Dang, I didn't even notice it had a TP. Dang. Yeah, let's do that. Let's screenshot that. You got Indian garments, a TP. It says yesterday, today. I don't know what that means. Some people playing cards at a table or something. And a swastika with the TP under it. That's... Huh. And all the military stuff is gone. That's it going down the parade. I wish I could get closer in on this to see the folks. I hear it again. Give me a second. Damn it. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get his ass. I'm gonna get your ass. Okay. So, all right, so that was that. The athletics. Every page has that on there, just so you know. We ain't missed too many pages. Not every, but most pages have that on there. These are the athletics. Pretty off, but whatever. Okay. There's the varsity football team. It's like they went to war, came back, and started pretending to be a real school. Baseball team, girls gym, track team, girls. And a lot of these things look like photo ops, in my opinion, to be honest with you. And notice it just ends. A lot of this shit just looks like photo ops because you always got the groups together. These individual photographs, it's kind of like, I don't know, they just kind of cut some shit out. You have the whole float, right? 4 people there. You don't have anybody in the classes like that. You got just these groups, 4 people there, the quartet. These groups, not really people actually working. When you actually look, the only work you see is this work. People working on building this particular little add-on to that house. But and you can't even get close. You really can't tell who the hell is working. But then when you get up here to the actual school itself, that bitch barren. Barren than a motherfucker, right? And prior to this, it was a military fucking thing, really. And they didn't show any agricultural buildings. So let's go to the next year. It shouldn't be anything much different, right? Because it's just a year later, but still, let's check. Now they got a little sign. They call themselves the agricultural school. So this is the first time they really start to take on the name and say they're an agricultural school. Of course, we didn't see a whole lot of agricultural going on, but 1932. Okay. Let's see. They've removed the swastikas. Notice how there is no more swastika. We might not want to put that on the next yearbook. Yeah, I think that might hurt us in the future. Let's leave that out. Okay, some of the same buildings. Okay, from the year before. Look at that shit. That's crazy. Yep, that same type of brick. So that's the same building. Seniors. Let's look at the seniors. Same kind of looking people. Nobody's done mixed with nobody. They still look fresh off of some boats or something. She looked like her name could be Meredith. Yeah, just a bunch of people playing games that have our surnames. Barry, Brown, Butler, Clark, Frazier, Falls, Freeman, Leola Freeman. Let's see, Goer, Hayes, I know we got some Hayes. James, Jefferson, Jones, Lewis, and still none of these people. Like literally, we'll go through all these yearbooks, and no, we're not going to do that. But you would go through all these yearbooks. You're going to see the same pattern. A bunch of people who don't look like they've been mixed with any kind of black or any kind. They could have been mixed with some white tea. They definitely don't look like all like today's Indians, today's natives, and they, all that, and you're gonna see they all have different little phenotype look changes and stuff. You're gonna see the same pattern no matter what. They took out the swastikas, they took out the military stuff, and now we're just a school. Empty classroom, but that's got the nursing classes got some people in it. Home economics got some people working on a bridge. Apparently construction from a house. Okay, see now you got people actually in the actual classroom. Mechanical department. Okay, now you're feeling like you got to be more real about what you're doing. Okay, and they're actually doing a little something. Now, a lot of stuff has removed, but the war is over. So we can be normal now. We've already immigrated you in after you fought the war for us. And so we can, just throw you out there. Throw you a little extra funds and shit. Yeah. So that's the conclusion. I don't want to look at the rest of them because I feel like I'm going to see pretty much the same thing. We've seen a much more later version of the 1950s. So I done got way off. But really, I wouldn't really own anything. I don't even remember where I started, to be honest, with this live stream. I'm trying to remember even what the hell we was talking about. But that probably means it's time for me to get off. Yeah, it's been about probably 3 hours. Let's see. Now they're learning from us how to be citizens. Exactly. They come in, take our culture. They learned the Indian culture. What I do believe went on there too is that's where they learned how to do the little basket weaving and make a little fried bread and bullshit they be doing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they learned it in those schools too, and it was that's just one of the boarding schools. Let me just see this. I've never done this before. What are the names of the Indian boarding schools from the early 1900s? Carlisle Indian School, okay. Chimmawa Indian School, Chicolo. Oh, my bad. Hold on. Carlisle Indian School, Chihuahua Indian School, Chicolo Indian Agricultural School. Even AI found it very quickly. Flando Indian School, Genoa. So you know what? Literally, and I'm gonna end up doing this probably today. Just because I done got on this damn topic. I'm probably going to try to pull up a yearbook from every single one of these hoes. Now we're going to really see. Let me just see if I can pull up one of these real quick before I get off of here. Carlisle Indian Industrial School. Let's see. The Indian Industrial School, Pennsylvania. Okay. Let me see if any of them say the word yearbook on it. If not, I'm going to still just click on this one first real quick. I don't think that's a yearbook. No, that's not the yearbook. Carlisle annual report. Catalog 18th annual report. The Indian Carlisle School is its origin. I want to see a yearbook. Let me Google it. But let me look at this origin thing. Where did they go? Where it go? 1908. I think it's very similar to the one that I just had open. Yeah, but even then, you know, nobody's mixed with anything. The Indians were mixing with the black people that was mixing with the Europeans. Okay? That's what y'all don't understand. We got an ethnogenesis that happened. All three of them was having sex. Where the mulattoes at, man? Where the goddamn mulattoes, is my opinion. Oh, they all went up under the black. Well, wasn't that many up under the black. It was only 400,000 mulattoes out of 3.5 million black folks. That ain't enough mulattoes for an ethnogenesis. These people are crazy. The ethnogenesis part is crazy. I'm not talking about, if you FBA, I ain't being harsh on you like that. You know, but the whole talking point that Tariq puts out there about that ethnogenesis thing is crazy. If anything, I got another video at some point I'm going to do, probably another live stream for y'all as well. I got this folder. I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to Google that, but I got this folder. I call it Roots, even though Root. I don't want to put the S on there, make it sound like the movie Roots, but it is like the root of who we are. Like, what are the things that these people are saying in books about the Indians, and how does that tie back to the things that we do at the root of who we are? Herbs and like us working with herbs and for medicines and stuff like that. You know, niggas got all kind of herbal stores and tell you about herbs and this and that in a heartbeat. And you'll find that a lot in these passages, and you'll find a lot of things just explained about who we was, some of the way we talk, how we say the word mama versus anybody else. We the only one to say mama like that after a certain period. Everybody starts off saying it, but then they get corrected and people start saying mother, mom, something like that. Typically mother or mom. But I ain't finna go through. I should have all the, next time I'm gonna go through these and highlight the passages, but then I'd have to resave it, and I probably ain't gonna do it anyway. But the reason why I was saying that is because there was no ethnogenesis that happened. We are who we always have been. Anybody that's done came in and married in with a nigga somewhere just turned into a nigga somewhat, or they decided to go back to the white side. They gonna pick a culture. They gonna pick a culture because life is gonna make them pick a culture. Let me type in this and put yearbook. Yearbook of the Carlisle Indian School, 1918. Ooh, really? That's an important year. Remember that other one was 1919, where they had all that military shit going on, right? Let's see what they got in the Carlisle Indian School. Or is there something else? Look at that dude. He looks like his name is Mein Fjord. Okay? Fuck out of here, man. Oh, let me try to get this. Yeah, every time I get up toward it, got your ass. Drowning Beach, Bleach. Alright. Alright, I'm done. I won't be seeing that motherfucker no more. And typically I would just swat their ass, but that motherfucker was kept going in between the blinds, and every time you swat at the blinds, I end up breaking a blind or something. I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna spray your whole ass. So this is it's not really like a yearbook. Let me keep going. Maybe it'll have. I want to see surnames. I want to see people and surnames. That's what I want to see that, and I want to see if anybody in some military outfits while y'all playing games. Hold on, this thing is. Let me full screen it. Maybe that'll make it better. I go mine fuel. All right. They're dancing of some type. They ain't powwowing. Who knew they danced like that as Indians? Who ever seen an Indian dancing dressed like this? Are those real Indians? Or are they playing games? What is this? What is this? Let's keep going. Oh, there's some names. Last name Jacobs, Clark, Lenore, Doc Statter, Kip, Vargas, Skaka, Roulette, Paulas, Ballew, Green, Peters, Eastman, Haney, Pago, Childers. Are those Indians? Native Americans, I should say? This is a Native American school, right? Is this their culture? I've never seen them do this. This looks like your average YT thing. Now we're gonna look at a later version of this of the yearbook, but what are they dressed in? What is this? Tableau composed of the historical characters represented in the pageant feudism to freedom. Okay, so they're dressed up like they're doing a play. Okay. There's the band, military-like band, but okay. Names. Being a characterization of the class of 1918 as they are known by their fellow students, written by classmates. So it says name, let's say Childers, known as Ruby, noted for musical ability, hobby dancing, appearance jolly, favorite expression, needs most. Yeah, this is kind of weird. Thought I was going to see some names. I mean, there's some names, but not the first and last names. And it ain't got faces next to them. Some more people dressed up. The Winning F. Petruth Battalion boys. Look at that. We got more people at a different school dressed up. Supposed to be Indians, natives, in military garments. Let me get a screenshot. And this is a different school. Carlisle, 1918, around the same time. Catching y'all niggas in some... Where was y'all going? Let's see. All members of the class 1918 notified to meet us in the 6 months. Time flies. We're going promptly. The United States not missing. Some were bowed with the years, but all wearing bright and happy faces as once again we clasp hands and join heartily in singing the green and white, the spirit of giving. Nevertheless, the history of the world was so much about giving, as now the people of the country especially are called upon to give at every hand and money and supply in sums and quantities too great for the human mind to grasp are given freely, but the giving of which we speak is the similar giving which concerns ourselves along with the uppermost. They're just talking about giving. Thought they was going to talk about the what the hell these people are doing dressed up and called a battalion and their officers. Emerson Motex, Benjamin S. Caldwell, first and second lieutenants. I almost stopped going through here this, but I was like, let me keep going through this motherfucking book. It might, because I was like, it might not have much in here, but here I do. What did I find? A military battalion. What is a military battalion doing at this Indian school in 1918? The Winning Company Girls Battalion. First and second lieutenants. Okay. And now they're playing basketball. Ignore those things we were just looking at. They're doing lacrosse and track and, these things here. Baseball, on the stoop. We got to sit on the stoop. You never see them actually play, but Carlisle students. And here they go. The agricultural club dressed up like military folks. Okay? That's pretty funny. Why would you need to wear agricultural clothes? I mean, military clothes to go do agriculture. Wouldn't that be a little bit of a hindrance in agriculture? Let me see if I can download that instead of screenshotting it. Oh, hell. Well, that downloaded the whole book. I'll take the whole book. Let me just save that to my files. Fuck it. That'll come in later, handy later. Look at that. You got some more military folks. Ain't that something? Around the same time as the other one. Around the same time as the war was going on. They're also called a battalion. The cadet commissioned officers. Okay. Looking like they came over off a boat. They have not mixed with anybody. There are no mulattoes. If anything, I mean, there's a mixture of something right there. But it's crazy. Look, they holding up colors, saluting with the sergeants, holding up the American flag. I thought the natives wouldn't want to deal with that. But I guess y'all retraining them. That's what it is. Y'all retraining them to be citizens. Oh, everybody has a military outfit on. Huh. That's a lot of military outfits. The Invisible Debating Society. Maybe that was just a fashion at the time. Maybe that's not a military outfit. The other ones were called battalions. Or maybe they just wore their battalion outfits to the debate club. One of the two. But yeah, so I got to finish clicking. I'm almost done clicking through here. The Standard Literary Society. Wearing the same outfits. So, okay, that's the end of that. So, that was from 1918. Let me see if we have a later school yearbook date. Yearbooks are similar to Carlisle as such. The 1918 yearbook or the 1902 Indian Industrial School catalog are available through the Carlisle Indians. Did the Carlisle Indian School only exist for 1 year? Carlisle Indian School Digital Resource Center. Hold up. Carlisle Indian School years in operation. From 1879 to 1918. So they only have 1 yearbook, possibly. Let's see. Let me see. And I'm going to tell you what I think the trickery is going on in my head. Expansion to reform the Carlisle Industrial School, the education of Indians, 1801 to 1861. The students understand blah, blah, blah. Curriculum for the students, social studies standards, theme, culture. The students explain information on how they interpret people, whatever. Objective of the student, like none of this is primary documentation. None of this is, it's just stuff on the screen to me. Indian reservations and Indian boarding schools in 1892. So that 19 must be Chicolo right there. My bad. Chicolo. Chilocco Indian Agricultural School, Oklahoma, right there in 19. And I knew that just because that's Oklahoma, right? But then you got these other ones. Now, notice where a lot of these are at. Notice where a lot of these, think about this. Notice where these Indian, come on now. Notice where these Indian schools are at that are teaching these folks. They're not in the Southeast, right? Wasn't they doing all the Indian fighting in the Southeast? Wasn't they really like supposedly getting rid of the Indians on the East Coast and the Southeast all throughout the 15, 16, 1700s? 1800s, the Indian Removal Act were the people from here to there. What are these schools doing? Who are they teaching? Shit, I've been screaming in the chat. You said you've been screaming in the chat. What you been screaming, Latrice? Sent them to school to act like us if there was us. Why they need these in the exactly nowhere in the South. Exactly. Keep searching. Chief Nation Yo. I don't know why you say keep searching. Probably 2 years, right? Indian War. What was you saying, Latrice? Or maybe you saying you've been saying that in the chat. Oh, probably 2 years. You said they were stealing land. Okay. But that was Virginia. It was them going back to school to steal our land and our identities as well, yeah? Our identities as well. I threw that in there, but yeah. But that was Virginia when they did that to us with the schooling. Yeah. Our schools were Indian school because notice these are the American boarding schools, but there were Indian schools down there. I think I got one listed in my photographs. Indian. No. I got there's a photograph, and I should be able to just Google it. Let's see. Tuskegee Indian School. No, it wasn't Tuskegee. It wasn't Tuskegee. The term Tuskegee appears to be a misunderstanding. No, it wasn't Tuskegee. Damn it. Where is that? In my head, I'm thinking, where is it? I can see it, but I can't think of the word. It was Tallahassee. Tallahassee or something like that. Tallahassee Indian School or some shit like that. Okay. Look at this. The Tallahassee Mission. This Creek Indian School was founded by Reverend Presbyterian foreign miss Reverend whatever by the Creeks destroyed in 1880. And where was it at? And this is under African American Registry. Whack ass shit. It should be in Tallahassee, which is a county in I think Alabama or something. And look at who's there. Who's in the Tallahassee Mission Indian School? They're just descendants of Creek freedmen. That's why that is. Yeah, they're in an Indian school, right? One of the only one. I mean, not the only ones, but many of the ones in the South. But they were just freedmen. See, we sent the non-freedmen way up north, right? We had to get them away from y'all niggas, so we can teach them the art of being American citizens, according to us, according to them, right? We're just trying to preserve the Indian, save the man, whatever the fuck they say. Kill the Indian, save the man, some stupid shit. But ain't that crazy? All of your Indian schools are way up there in the north. Nowhere near where the Indians you have been fighting with. They didn't even get that way until after 1803, the Louisiana Purchase. And then they still had to go that way even further. They probably didn't even get to some of these areas that's listed till damn near 1850, 60, 70, y'all. And then they bring these niggas in on boats, assign them to some of these areas, and goddamn it start giving away our names and identities and also brought them in to fighting the war. Brought them in as immigrants and made them citizens after they likely fought in the war. We just seen 2 of these schools, and we gonna see now I got a whole list of these hoes. Click. So now I get to see. That's gonna be a long process, and that's gonna really turn into a documentary. I already had a bunch of shit about it, but I was kind of like, man, I'm kind of lacking on a little bit of stuff on this particular folder, but this right here, oh, this is gonna open up all the floodgates. Cause now I'm gonna look at everybody's yearbook, and see if they all have military outfits. If they all have military outfits, was they fighting us? Maybe, or did they go overseas and fight? That's gonna be a thing. Chief Nations Yo-Yo, why do you keep saying keep searching? Is that all you can say? With your weird avatar ass? Who picks an avatar like that? I'm gonna pick a smiley face man with a big ass thumbs up. Yeah, this is amazing. Like when you were scrolling through avatars to pick, what made you say this was the right one? Did it amuse you? Look at the little guy. That's like some little juvenile kitty ass amusement. So much so that you chose it as an avatar, nigga. How old are you? 10? You gotta be 10. You keep telling me to keep searching. Keep searching for a better avatar, motherfucker. Okay? Keep searching for one of them. I'ma always flip your little comment back on your ass. Where my damn lighter at? I'm gonna get back on these next. So yeah, so that's gonna be my next thing. Is going through a lot of these and figuring out if they all got yearbooks and what went through their yearbooks. But what we do see is we do see an Indian school, right? Look at this right here. I was hoping I could just pull up the photo bigger. Yeah. The Tallahassee Manual Labor School. Provided it says photographed at Muskogee, Indian Territory, the beautiful Indian Territory. Well, how come this school ain't listed among STEM schools? I wonder how come this Indian Territory school, called the Indian School, amongst the Creek Indians, isn't listed among the rest in Indian Territory. I don't know, do you? Could you think of a good reason why they might leave it out? Could you think of a good reason why they might leave that shit out? I could think of however many reasons are in this motherfucking photo. And look, and they the ones that did it. Bitch ass motherfuckers right there. Caught your ass. Y'all the only ones looking like that in the motherfucking photo. Y'all the motherfucking ones that came there. What did y'all take? Why are you there? We don't need you there to teach us. What you doing there? What information are you taking back to them new schools you building over there for them other folks? What's going on? Is that a kid in a stroller? I didn't even know they had strollers like that back then. That looks like a baby in a stroller. 1891. They had strollers back then? Probably so. I guess they had cars, so it's not somewhat. So I guess it wouldn't be a stretch to say they would have a stroller. But yeah, you got a photo full of niggas labeled Indian Territory in 1891, well before these motherfucking schools, right? Well before they schools have yearbooks that show photographs. The earliest we've been found so far is 1918. So you can find us in schools, in Indian schools, in the 1800s, but you can't find them. That's funny. That's funny. Let me see if I can save this. Download. Did it save? I think it did save. Let me just make sure it's in my photos. No, it's not. That's why I wanted to make sure. It must be a PDF or something. Excel. What kind of file is this? I can save the files, but I run a save. Save image. Tripping. I was looking for the word save photo. My dumb ass. There we go. All right. I just want to make sure. And this is the higher quality one, so I can zoom way in and get the detail. Who built that building behind them? I wonder who built that and put a portico there with these kind of rails and shit. You know, the black people, of course, with the little steeples and shit. But okay. All right. Architectural design carrying over from, who we are. They were too busy doing stuff like this in 1913. No, this was 1931. They were being ignorant in the 1930s. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm probably about to get off here. But I'm going to be going through. I was already doing something else, but I'm going to be going through here, and y'all can too. Shit. Let's just see if one to pull up. I'm just curious. We didn't try this one, did we? Nah. First, I'm going to try the archives. But it seems to be doing better on YouTube, on Google. No, yeah, I did do that one. Or maybe it just didn't copy what I just copied. Hold on. Where the hell did that list go? No, it didn't copy because it just put the Carlisle one in there. Come on now, copy, bitch. Otherwise, I'm going to have to spell it out. Chimaya Indian School. Funny name. Maya, huh? I'm going to leave that open. Okay, I'll do that there. And I'll do this here. Nothing came up for that. Let me just take that out. Nothing came up. Let's see what Google got for you, boy. Chimawa. So maybe it's because the spelling. Let me try that. Nothing here. Let me just Google it real quick. And then we're gonna Google just the year of operation that whole been around. Chamawa Indian School, home of the brave. Let me put yearbook. Oh man, my legs. Okay. Listing Chamawa Indian School yearbook photos on Ancestry. Ooh, I bet it won't let me see that bitch. Let's see, 60 images, 107. But these are in the 1970s, 1969. Let's look at the 1969 if it'll let me. Okay. These are some of the photographs in it. Let me see if I can just view the damn book. I'm trying to do all that, nigga. Browse images in this collection. Choose. Well, no. Shit. Let's try a different thing. Chamaya Indian Boarding Schools, the first 100. Universal Publishers. Chamaya. That might be the only place. Indian School, home of the Braves. My ass. This one, I mean, it seems like a later. Chamaya Boarding School, the first 100. That's a story about it. So some of these ain't gonna be as super easy to find. I mean, they definitely was in there. Let me just click on this one. I should have clicked on the first one. So your years you only have are 61, 62, 64, and 65. Again, this was the Indian boarding school. People say, and some of these people will tell you, we were in boarding schools up until late. Well, why were you in boarding school so late? They were erasing the Indians still. Why would they still need to be doing that in 1961? That doesn't even make sense. That didn't take me there. You got to sign up for this. Damn. View free scan CIS pictures. Damn, yeah, you gotta sign up for it. Ain't that a hoe? Somebody gotta have that bitch somewhere. Hold on. Search collection. Man. Okay, I ain't gonna take forever. I really was hoping I'd found it, but you gotta sign up. And maybe, if I go through a few more searches, I might be able to find me a copy. I might just be able to find a copy. Let me try one more thing. What did he say? Chimawachi Indian School Yearbook. Let me do this. Indian School Yearbook PDF 4. Search the archive records in the Chamaya Rocket Solutions. Let's see what this is. Now, this is 2025, 2026. It wouldn't be a boarding school at that point. That's still that one. Yeah, I thought that's what that was. Yeah, it ain't going to be easy. But y'all can see what I be going through, you know what I'm saying, to try to find some of this stuff for you. So when I come to you with the screenshots and the links and all that already ready, you didn't have to see me go through all this right here as I went and looked for shit, And sometimes I won't find it, but usually I will find it, okay? And I might just, if that website is free, let me see, register. Sign up with Facebook, sign up with Google. It's like, if all I got to do is register, let's see. I'll give you one of my little bullshit ones. Email accounts. Fuck it, you can use this one. For the interest of research. Ooh. 1950 it goes back. Unless this is just, let me see. Complete your account, password, last name of high school, studio, what you're doing now. What? Let me throw a password in here. I'll just do it. Get over here. Y'all need to see my passwords. Research. What are you doing now? Research. Not now. Don't save it. Now they want to hit you with the price. Continue with free membership. Okay. Let's see what you get for the free membership. Skip this step. I don't need to do all that. Who is this lady? I don't know. Skip this step. Skip that step. Okay, I done signed up for some profile. Now I need to go back to where the hell I was at, nigga. Let me hold on. Now I'm gonna have to Google it. Yearbooks. Okay. Now we're in. I think I'm signed in. Yeah. So can I see it? You some hoes. Wait a minute. Oh, you got to sign up for something called Classmates for this one. So what did I sign up for? Some Chumaya Indians. What the hell is this? I guess that link. Oh, so that was just linking you to this website called Classmates. And if you sign in, it ain't gonna tell you that you got to pay. But watch, you're gonna have to pay. They're gonna want you to pay for this. And that's how they usually do it. They want you to log in first so they can get your information and sell that shit, and then they're gonna tell you it's gonna cost. Damn. I don't even want to give them my information. I done already gave these hoes my information. Whatever, y'all. All right, so I'm about to get off here. I'm going to research some of these other schools, see what I can find, see if I can find it. Did you find it, Latrice? Is that what you put a link in the Bible, down here to? What's up, Nikki? Is that what you put? Is that what that link is? It could have changed into boarding school that chase out HTTPS CIS. Let me type that in real quick. HTTPS semicolon or colon, I'm sorry, colon back CIS .BIE .edu. What's their website? Let me see what you were saying. Yes, the site he's trying to pull up. Do they got the yearbook on here? It looks like the current school, which looks crazy. Look at the TPs, y'all, they got out there on the current. That looks like the school in the back. And they got these giant TPs out there. Now, what are you teaching? Putting some damn rickety-ass motherfucking white cloth ass motherfucking teepees up like that, man. These people are fucking crazy. No, go live in them then, motherfuckers. Go live in them hoes. If that's what you want to build, go live in them hoes. You want your culture so bad, there you go. God damn it. These people crazy. Let's see if they probably don't have their yearbooks on here though. The old yearbooks. Let me just type yearbook right here. Yearbook. They ain't even getting nothing up under the search. Digital learning, student life, whatever. What does that person look like right there? Does that look like an Indian or does that look like a Guadalupe? She look like her name could be Guadalupe. These people be playing games. Right, I would search here for photos versus getting scammed through those other sites, right? If I can't find them, though, I'm going to try to figure out something. That Classmate site it seems like it's probably a little legitimate site. It seems like it's a yearbook repository or yearbook archiving site. That would be the best word, not repository, but a yearbook archiving website. And that sounds like a pretty good business model. Once I saw it, I was like, oh, that's pretty dope to be able to go to one place and know that you can get all your old yearbooks. Like, what if, let me go to it too. I would sign up if I can get my old yearbooks that I was in that I don't have anymore. Classmates yearbooks. Find yearbooks online, huh? Let me just see. What year? 2001? No, wait a minute. What did it ask? high school graduation high school. Oh, my bad. Okay. I went to John Marshall. In Oklahoma. Does it show John Marshall in Oklahoma? That nigga had shit everywhere with his motherfucking bullshit ass. Yeah, John Marshall High School, Oklahoma City. What year did that come out? 2001. Do I gotta do all that? Oh, nah. Explore and interact with your book now. You still gotta basically set up just to see if you can search to get it. But it says it has mine. If it has mine, let me just try to. Let me just set up something real quick and throw a little password in here real quick on y'all. I trust y'all. I just don't trust the trolls. Like this Mr. No Face there. Okay. Save the password. Fuck it. All right, let me verify the code. That it has not sent to me yet. Yeah, man, where's the code? Let me look at my spam. No. All mail. Resend code. All right, it's playing games. It's not sending me the verification code. Saying what year did you graduate at John Marshall? 2001. 2001. Right after the turn of the 2000s. Yeah, man, it's been trying to send me a code, but it ain't sending the damn code. It's my email address. That's pretty whack. Try to sign up for your shit and you still bullshitting. He said, okay, I'm 90, John Marshall. Oh, that's what's up. You probably don't know my sister. My sister came out in the 90s. She was a cheerleader. Her last name was Baker, Lakeisha Baker. She came out in the 90s. And in the 90s, when they had a football team and basketball team going hard, during my years, they didn't really go that hard. They was winning state championships in the 90s. And now they want that credit card. Right? This is like, we ain't sending you no code till you give us that card, nigga. Yeah, they ain't send me no code. I was at least gonna try to see the basic if they got my 80 and 90 was the ish. Yeah, I was gonna at least try to see if they got it. Yeah, but I'll deal with it some other time. Same thing with these things. I done wasted time trying to find this stuff. I can't remember what I was doing. I do. Prior we were going through. So anyways, I'm about to get off here like I've been saying. But I appreciate y'all being in here this morning. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all morning. Got some game from me. I'll be uploading these on YouTube, the full thing. So if you need something hella long, 3-4 hours to listen to, it'll be there. But I'll holler back at y'all. Talk to you later. See you later, Yaya, Lily, Meta, Nikki, and the rest.